Thank you for having me. Innovaud is very happy to be supporting AMLD together with the state of Vaud. And this morning, I'm going to talk about applied machine learning. And one way to look at how to apply it is via entrepreneurship and startup. So I'm going to tell you about the support mechanisms that exist in Vaud and to give you 5 examples of startups that are exhibiting right here so you can visit them. So Innovaud is the support agency for innovation in Canton de Vaud. We support startups and SMEs with different tools. But first, a reminder for those who are not familiar with the geography of Switzerland. Vaud is one of the westernmost cantons, that's a kind of a province in Switzerland, one of the biggest. And you see where we are right behind me. The Swiss population is about 8 million people, so Vaud is 10% of that. And what's interesting in Vaud is that we have a little bit over a third of the population that's non-Swiss. And as you know, diversity is pretty important in innovation. That's one of the factors, and that explains also why so many things take place here. We also have 10% of the Vaud population that's involved in education, either as students or as members of the universities. That's also a key factor. One way to look at the activity of the startups is via some rankings. We have one in Switzerland that's kind of the reference, the top 100 Swiss startups every fall, and the last ranking showed 24 of the 100 startups are from Vaud and 4 among the top 10. And actually the 4 are spin-offs of EPFL, so this is one of the hubs of innovation in the area. We had actually Gemaya last year that was presenting in this very event. Also, a measure of the dynamism of the startup is the number of startup foundations. Deep Tech founded in last year was reached the number of 42, and it's been climbing in the past several years, and it's going to be higher this year. We already have a number of creation in January only, so almost one new deep tech startup every week. So you may have heard those terms applied to Switzerland and to Vaud, the drone valley, the health valley, robotics valley. That's already something current. Do we have something that's going to be an AI valley? I'm convinced of that, and I know Marcel is as well, so this is important for me to support specifically this domain. So why all this dynamism of Vaud and of this area? Well, you have this great concentration of research institutions. Of course, EPFL, we are on the EPFL here, but you have also a number of other universities and research institutions, including CERN, that's not in the Vaud territory, but that's pretty close, and CERN is very active in AI, as you know. A number of accelerators. Accelerators are important to help startups take off. I'll mention Mass Challenge because it started in Boston, and we have one of the subsidiaries here in Lausanne, just 2 kilometers from here. We have the principal EdTech accelerator in Europe, and also a number of other key accelerators. As you know, financing is one of the key challenges for startups, and for that we have a number of tools, but I'll mention 2 of them. One from the Office of Economic Affairs that can support high-tech, innovative companies with 100,000 Swiss franc cash to support projects like patenting or developing some elements of the product or service. But the main tool that's unique to this place is the Foundation for Innovation and Technology. It supports startups with grants and loans, and last year was a record year with 6.2 million grants and loans that were attributed to startups. So this is really something that helps in the very risky phase at the beginning where investors do not like so much to invest as long as there is too much risk. There is a really dense network of coaches, 80 coaches that can intervene free of charge with different specialties. That's also important to help on specific topics, startups and scale-ups as they progress. You may know we have 6 different science parks in Canton de Vaud, and one of them is EPFL Innovation Park, that's represented on this picture, but also 5 others that are specific to different domains. Biopol, for example, for everything related to life sciences, and it has launched a digital health initiative where AI plays, of course, a big role. A number also of co-working spaces are active. And finally, for the first part, communication is very important, so we try to realize, make videos of entrepreneurs, of successes, so they can use that material for their own promotion. And if you are curious, you can just go to YouTube and type Innovaud. You'll get more than 50 different videos showing entrepreneurs, innovations of this area. So now I'm going to tell you about specific startups from here. You may remember last year I used 5 examples. They are evolving quite nicely, the 5 represented here. But this year we have 5 others. And first of the 5 examples is eco-robotics. Some of you may know it. It's a very interesting example in agri-tech. It's an autonomous robot that's able to weed, and that's solar powered. So it has machine learning to recognize weed from crop, and it's able to use 10 times less pesticide than normal solutions. And also, it doesn't use any diesel. It's not a tractor. It doesn't damage the field, and it's able to run the whole day autonomously, and the farmer gets it back in the evening and puts it to use on the next field the next day. And so it's a scale-up now. It's raised 10 million last summer. It's growing fast, and it's also part of our scale-up initiative to support fast-growing companies. So they are present on the booth here. Don't hesitate to discuss with them. Second example, very different, Iprova. They're using machine learning to invent. They have big customers like Panasonic or Philips that mandate them to give them inventions with patents. And to do that, they have a team of inventors and also a team of AI researchers. Because if you want to patent something, you have to discover something that's new, something that's surprising. So that's why they have a tool that's the contrary to a Google search engine, if you want. They try to establish links between things that are not obvious. And they have one very cool example of using autonomous vehicle fine control to move a little bit the passengers in order to establish if they have some health issues. So that's nice examples. Third example is a company called Visium, also present here, and they have helped a number of organizations in different verticals, pharmaceuticals, food and beverage, or security, with specific solutions. And where they have a very original solution is in the domain of embeddable machine learning. So machine learning that's running on small devices, spread out on the terrain, and not in the cloud when it's not possible. One application they have realized with that is a system to detect potentially dangerous sounds, like gunshot or accident sounds in a specific area in a city. And using machine learning models, they are able to determine with good accuracy what's the origin of the sound. Is it a gunshot? Is it an accident? Is it something else? Good example. Fourth company is privately, and this is in the domain of online child protection. You know, children get smartphones always at a younger age, and they very often don't know how to behave, what to share, and often they share things they shouldn't. And privately provides a machine learning backend that's able to determine if the content the child is about to post is dangerous, because they would be sharing their home address, or making a rendezvous with somebody somewhere, or sharing maybe sensitive picture, naked pictures. And it's in the form of a small chatbot that must be an app that's installed on the phone, and that looks at all the social network traffic, and that intercepts, for example, a sensitive message by saying, well, are you really sure you want to post that message, because there is such and such risk. So it's not a blocking application like you find hundreds. It's more something to help the child learn how to behave online and also fostering discussion with the parents. So they're also present here, ready to discuss with you about this application. They've been adopted by the BBC for distribution in the whole of the United Kingdom. And my fifth and final example is Finity, another kind of startup. They use machine learning to analyze daily 500 million social media posts and 20 million articles, using semantic analysis to identify the topic of the post, recognize entities, such as corporations or people, and determine the sentiment of the message in order to extract trends, influencers. So depending on the client, they are able to display very interesting graphs over time. One of their main clients is the World Economic Forum. They were pretty busy last week with big displays throughout the WEF in Davos, showing in real time the influence of a speaker. You know, there were, I think, 11 workshops on AI at Davos. So they were able to display in real time the influence of such and such speaker on the different social medias. All those companies, almost all of them will present also in different tracks, in the industry and AI tracks. And one that's not exhibiting will also present in the track. That's Pictera, uses AI to extract features in Earth imagery from drones or from satellites to count cars, buildings, trees. They have pre-trained models that are able to extract precise information on geographical imagery. And one final information, we've launched a portal called vo.digital, that's in English, and that allows to find all the digital innovators in this region. It has an easy filtering system where you can just type, select artificial intelligence or robotics, and then you would see only the companies, but also the research institutes that are active in that area, also with a map in order to identify them very easily. So that's it. Thank you very much for your attention. Don't hesitate to follow us on the different channels here. And I wish you a very interesting conference. Thanks.
So Patrick, same question to you that I posed to Michael. You've been in this for quite some time.
6 years, yes.
6 years. So going back 6 years, what would be the advice you'd give yourself?
Always a tough question. I think I would much more quicker zoom on innovation domains that are emerging. We are quite recognized for drones in the area, but professional drones, not consumer drones that, as you know, is mainly in China. And I think for emerging domains, we have to move much quicker and support startups that are in really emerging domains. I think in AI, we are still soon enough, and we want to support especially AI startups with all the capacities we have.
All right. Well, thanks for your continued support.
Thanks, Marcel.
Bye. Okay.